You showed up.
You sure know how to throw a party.
So you guys came to hear a guy's opinion that used to actively play Devil May Cry on the Devil May Cry show that's on Netflix before he watches it. You guys came to the right place. I'll be using the official trailer and the opening credits to form my opinion, so let's rock.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
Wow, this is my kind of rain.
There's a few things I liked and didn't like about the Devil May Cry trailer, but I'm gonna start with what I liked and keep some optimism until I start watching the show. But first things first, this video is... But first things first... No, what the fuck? But first,
I was supposed to make a joke as if I was sponsored by
Raid Shadow Legends.
because it feels like when I watch YouTube, quite a lot of the times they're sponsored by Raid. So I was thinking like, that would be funny if I would make like a joke as if I was, but I failed at that and decided to keep in the last bit because I thought it would be maybe even funnier to just keep it in, you know. So I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Anyways, one of the first things I liked about the trailer is that some of these environments look like they could be from the games and actually are from the games. Like for example, these from DMC5. I showed these two clips from DMC5 for the part when Dante rides a bike in the anime. It's because the scene came to my head instantly when I saw it, and it kind of looks like the streets he rides around in. And also seems like a combination of the area where Nero fought Gilgamesh. But considering it's the same city, it does make sense they look similar. As for Dante's office, it doesn't look like the design is strictly from any of the games. For me, it looks like a combination of the area I showed of DMC5 and, of course, Dante's office. To give a general opinion of all the environments shown in the trailer, I personally like them. They obviously fit the DMC vibe, and seems like the show is mostly inspired by DMC5, as far as I can tell in terms of design, which I think is pretty cool. Alright, as for characters, the designs go a little more over the place in terms of designs, which is good. Why? Because there is more variation, and not just inspiration from one DMC game, which as we went over the environments, it seems like most of the inspiration came from DMC5, but as for characters, it seems like the inspiration comes from DMC4, DMC3, so more than just one DMC game.
Let's dance.
The first character I'll mention is the demon-slaying main man Dante. As for him, you could basically say he has two different designs. The first one with his shirt on seems closest to DMC5, though the chest band seems like from DMC3. Anyways, when his shirt is ripped off by Lady, it's close to DMC3. So I think that's a smart way to incorporate two designs in one. As for the gift from his demonic father Sparta, the rebellion seems like a combination of DMC4 and 5, which I guess is alright. I don't honestly have much of an opinion on it, besides it being smart that they combine two different designs in one with some artistic freedom, which is good that the show seems to have, but unless it doesn't look good or strays away from the vibe of DMC, then it's something else, not good. But as for the opinion on the two pistols, Ebony and Ivory, in some perspectives it doesn't quite click for me, and in some perspectives it does. But my biggest problem is that the colors seem the same. I mean, you know, there's no color difference between the two, because one of them is supposed to be black and one of them is supposed to be silver. Ivory is like creamy white, but it looks silver to me, and Ebony is black, but both of them look creamy white to me, or silver, you know, so that's my biggest problem with them two. As for Lady, I think her hair is alright, and thankfully got the two different color eyes, but her outfit doesn't quite click for me. We know her to usually wear something like this or that instead of armor. The armor gives off like a Mass Effect or Overwatch vibe, or skin that would be in Fortnite. Hopefully I didn't jinx her into becoming a Fortnite skin now, but the design doesn't give off DMC to me. Please let's not talk about Lady from DMC4. I feel like her design also strays away from the vibe of the character, except it being more I'll just leave it at that.
Dante, leaving so soon? We have much to catch up on, brother.
Up next, we talk about the storm that's approaching, named Vergil. As we all know him to be Dante's brother and the father of Nero, the little we see of his design through the fire, I think is perfect. Just perfect. Everything down to the last minute details. But for real, it's hard to give an opinion when you can't really take a good look at him from the trailer. So when the show comes out and I watch it, then I can give a better opinion.
Demon.
Now, we'll talk about the NPCs, aka enemies. Before I get too deep, I have a question. Is this guy Tony Stark? It looks like this scene is referencing Tony Stark from the Iron Man movie.
Demon.
I will most likely just give an opinion on the enemies that I recognize from the trailer, because I feel like this video will be too long if I give an opinion on every single enemy. But I can make a separate video on them if you want. Just comment down below, or I'll just give an opinion when I have watched the show. Let's see. So yeah, the ones I recognize is Agni and Rudra from DMC3, Echidna from DMC4, and Cavalier Angelo from DMC5. So I'm gonna start with Agni and Rudra from DMC3. One of the biggest problems I see with Agni and Rudra is the fact that they have a head connected to their bodies, but otherwise I think they're fairly close to the source material. And it's awesome that they still have a face at the end of their hilt. But one of the biggest points of them actually having a head at the end of their hilts is that they can talk and see, so I don't see a point why they actually have a head connected to their bodies. Because the only way they talk is through their swords. But we'll see. When I start watching the show, we'll see how they adapted the character in. According to the small part in the trailer though, it seemed like they weren't talking through their swords.
Damn, he's cool. Yeah!
Which in my opinion takes away quite a lot from what made them unique, or more unique, in the game. So the only way I see the creators adapting the character closer to the source material is if they get their heads chopped off in the show, and after that start communicating through the swords. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think of Agni and Rudra in the show, or any of the other characters.
Demon.
So my thoughts on Echidna is that the design is on point in my opinion, but I think there's just one small shebang. Just one small problem, you know what I'm saying? Just one small... Alright, I'll just say it. She's too small in this particular shot, otherwise I think she's alright. Not really much I can say about the character since I think it just goes so close to the design. There is nothing really much to say except that it's perfect.
Everything, down to the last minute details.
But in the game though, I hope... But in the show, I hope we get to see her quote-unquote plant spider form that we saw in the game. But otherwise, she's just perfect.
Demon.
Okay, just like Vergil, it's hard to give an opinion on a character that's shown for a really short time, as in shorter than some of the other characters that's shown in the trailer. But anyways, so my thought on him, or actually spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't played DMC5, but it's actually her, as in Trish, as a host for Cavalier Angelo, like Vergil for Nello Angelo, who was less powerful in the first game. But anyways, the little we see of Cavalier Angelo in this trailer, which is just this small part, I think the design is pretty close. Like, I mean, it's pretty good, you know? But obviously then, when I start watching the show, I can see how well they're adapted to the story and give a better opinion on their designs, because I'm assuming that their designs change throughout the show, so yeah, I can give a better opinion then.
Objective. He's a top level.
Before I talk about some speculations and things I don't like about the show based on the trailer, I have a few questions, and I hope any of you answer in the comments, even if you don't know the answer. But anyways, is this guy Nosferatu? And also, is this monster Leviathan? Because my speculation is that this monster is Leviathan from DMC3. So yeah, if you guys don't know the answer, I still want to know what you guys think, alright? So let me know.
Objective. He's a top level.
Anyways, in this part of the video, I may go a bit all over the place with speculations on the story and things in general about the show that I think might happen or might not happen, but let's get down to business, shall we? As we all know, Dante and Vergil are brothers, right? So I think how the story in a nutshell might go is that this rabbit demon might be Vergil as a host, or this blue guy, but I think it's more so Vergil, because he seems to have a big influence in the story, and if you look kind of closely around the ribbon, you can see like a blue gem which by the way, in this small part you can actually see him have a necklace that had a half blue and half red gem, which could maybe be Vergil's and Dante's necklace combined, which leads me to believe that the story takes most inspiration from DMC3 and actually also 1, because Vergil has always wanted to be more powerful, if not as powerful as Sparta, who was their father, right? So I've never played DMC1 all the way through, but in 1, Vergil was the host of Nella Angelo, created by Mundus, the demon prince who ruled the underworld and tried to conquer the human world. And I mean created as in Vergil fought Mundus, but since he was beaten, Mundus took Vergil's human heart, will, and ego, so he could be controlled by Mundus through the Nello Angelo armor. Which I think my point with the DMC1 explanation was that the rabbit guy is the vessel in which Mundus controls Vergil through, which I think makes sense, come to think of it. And since Mundus had both Vergil's and Dante's amulet, which I think it also explains why the rabbit guy has this kind of amulet, you know, which kind of looks like it's combined with Dante's and Vergil's amulet. This rabbit guy could be a vessel Mundus uses to control Vergil, right, to go against Dante. I obviously don't know how many seasons this DMC show will have, but I think the story could go kind of chronologically, that Season 1 takes the most inspiration out of DMC 1 story, Season 2 goes with DMC 2 story, and DMC 3 will be inspired in Season 3. So that's how it could maybe go. But it could also go in such a way that most of the season, Dante goes against the rabbit guy, and then at the end of the season, Dante goes against the normal Vergil. But I obviously don't know since I haven't watched the show yet, but I guess I'll see then, you know. So yeah, that's my speculation in a nutshell for the story, you know. It didn't maybe go as all over the place as I thought it would go, but that's just the way it is, I guess. Alright, we gotta talk about the big ass elephant in the room. And I mean really, really big elephant. That being, you guessed it, Dante's voice actor, Johnny Youngbosh. So do I really need to explain why that's a problem? The problem with that is that we know this guy as Nero. Yeah, we know this guy as Nero from DMC 4 and 5. Not as Dante, but Nero. Like, Jesus Christ, like, okay, I understand that this guy didn't know that he was gonna voice act Dante for the DMC show, but dude, and obviously I don't have a problem with him being in the show. I think it's pretty cool that he's in the show, alright? But not as Dante. Like, come on, man. He's known for Nero. So whoever casted him as Dante did him dirty and did Dante dirty. Because when we hear a certain voice for a certain character, we can just imagine the character in our brains, right? Like, I'm not kidding. I watched the trailer. I've watched the trailer like, I don't know how many times. But all the times I watched the trailer, I imagined Nero when I heard his voice. So you don't understand. I got really confused when I heard this guy's voice, and then I saw Dante on screen. Like, I can't be the only one who got confused, right? Like, no joke. So whoever casted him as Dante did him real dirty. And actually, us fans, I guess, you know? Like just imagine, now that we hear Nero's voice, and whoever has watched the show, right? Will not be, I mean, okay, definitely when I hear this guy's voice, I still imagine Nero, but now, even before watching the show, there'll be like a certain confusion in my brain, right? So, come on, man, like, why? That's like maybe the biggest mistake I think they did for the show, you know? Literally the biggest. Because imagine now, if there's a season 2, or let's just say Nero appears in season 1, right? Who's gonna be voicing Nero? Assuming he's gonna talk in the show, you know? Like, what was going through their brains, man? Like, you know? Like, I really wonder what the hell was going through their brains. I can literally imagine Vergil being like, are you my brother or son? Because as you all remember, Nero is Vergil's son, you know, and Dante is his brother. So when he talks to Dante, he's like, are you my brother or son? You know? Before I get too carried away with Dante's voice actor, well, Nero's and Dante's voice actor, let's just say it that way now. Alright, now he's Dante's and Nero's voice actor. But anyway, before I get too carried away, I'm gonna talk about some other problems I noticed, and that being Dante looking a little villainous. Just a little villainous, you know? What I mean by that is in the trailer, it looked like Dante was attacking humans. Yeah, I know, before you come at me in the comments, that, hey dude, this is just a trailer. Yeah, I know man, and it could very well be that these soldiers are demons of some sort, or brainwashed, or whatever, but come on, from what it looks like in the trailer, is that he's killing humans. Pick anyone that has played DMC, any amount, a lot, a little, I bet any of these guys know, or at least can guess if they don't remember, that Dante doesn't kill humans. He's a devil hunter. He hunts down demons. He kills demons, not humans. I have played DMC3 all the way through, DMC4 all the way through, DMC5 all the way through, and some of DMC1. I've never played that all the way through, and I know he does not kill humans. If someone is like Dante plus killing humans, nah, that does not equal Dante the Devil Hunter. Hell nah. Like, can you imagine him killing humans? I can't. So that's definitely a problem. Anyways, maybe I have been ranting enough now, and yeah, I could go on to nitpick on some smaller details and so on, but what would be the point, right? And by the way, before I give my short opinion on the opening scene, I didn't talk about the music. The music is something I like in the trailer. It gives me the vibe of like DMC3, DMC5, and honestly a little bit of Resident Evil, so that's my opinion on the music. I forgot to mention a few things about the lady's design. Yeah, may have forgotten to mention is that her hair, I think, really goes close to the hair design that the game has, and her voice, I think, really fits the character too. So those are the two things I think I may have forgotten to mention in her segment. Maybe there's other things I forgot to mention for different characters, but at least those are the two things that came to my mind for lady anyway. I'll keep my opinion about the opening scene short because this video I think is already pretty long, so there's definitely going to be some things that are left out. But anyways, I'm going to start with the music. So the music, in my opinion, gives me the vibe of like the 2000s animes, which is funny I say that because I do not watch anime, but it just kind of gives me that kind of vibe, you know? And I also think the music is something that maybe Dante would listen to, and that opinion could be skewed because I see Dante in the opening scene and I hear the music, so it could be skewed because of that, and because I think it fits in the opening scene. That could be, you know, like a skewed opinion, but that's just the opinion I have at the moment. And another thing I like about the opening scene is that it starts with showing familiar weapons from the different Devil May Cry games, like Alastor, Rebellion, Yamato, Red Queen, Force Edge, and the Agni and Rudra swords. And the way the Rebellion and the Yamato are glitching, I think is pretty nice, because it gives me the kind of like Clash vibes, right? Because they're brothers that fight each other. And by the way, as for the Red Queen being in the opening scene, I gotta assume we see Nero. Like we talked about the voice actor for Nero for the game's Johnny Young Bosch, right? He voices Dante in the show. So it kind of really makes me wonder who's gonna voice Nero. If the Nero voice actor from the games voice acts Dante, who the heck's gonna voice act Nero for the show, right? Is it gonna be Ruben Langdon for Nero, who was Dante from the games, from DMC3 upwards? Because if we already have Nero from the games as Dante, kind of really makes me wonder who's gonna voice act Nero, you know? Definitely they're gonna reference Nero in the show, besides this opening scene, of course. I gotta assume that the character's gonna actually appear. As for the general vibe, I think it kind of captures what we know as Dante to be, which is a stylish, pizza-eating demon slayer, right? And just the games in general, because we know the games as like fast-paced hack-and-slash games, high-octane action, you know? So I think it really, you know, captures the vibe in the intro, you know? And as for one last thing I'll mention is that I definitely think Mundus will appear in the show, or at the very least referenced, because besides the talk we had about the rabbit guy being a vessel for Mundus to control Vergil, we see this small part that I think tells us that this is how Mundus's demon form looks like. And since it shows before that Vergil's and Dante's amulet being combined, I think he'll definitely be referenced in the show, or even straight up shown, you know. So I think this guy might be Mundus, you know. So yeah, that's my opinion about the opening scene. I hope you guys enjoyed the pre-talk video on DMC. I hope it rocked, you know, and hope you guys like, subscribe, and share for more fiery content. And also remember to comment down below what you guys thought of the video and maybe what I can improve upon. Off the bat, I can definitely say I can improve upon my voiceover, right, the editing, and maybe straight up order, you know, because I feel like I went a little everywhere, you know. So yeah, signing off.
I'll try it your way for once. Remember what we used to say? Jackpot.